Restaurants, they're some of the businesses that are hardest hit by the coronavirus shutdown. And today, industry leaders asked President Trump to extend the current deadline for using federal relief money. Paul Murphy reports 115,000 restaurant employees in Louisiana have been laid off or furloughed since the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak in March.
Takeout and a dining room at 25% capacity is the reality, at least for now, at Drago's and other restaurants across Louisiana.
Our model is built on 100% occupancy. You know, we can't make money at 25%.
Monday, President Donald Trump held a roundtable at the White House with restaurant industry leaders. Melvin Rodrigue, president of Galatoire's restaurant in the French Quarter, was the first to speak. He also serves as chair of the National Restaurant Association.
The very nature of restaurants in general, we rely on social interaction. So it makes us really unique that we were hit hard quickly, and it's going to make our comeback really difficult.
According to a recent Restaurant Association survey, most restaurant operators don't think their business will return to normal during the next several months. In Louisiana, restaurants are only allowed to seat 25% of capacity to maintain social distancing.
This week, when we reopen at 25%, we'll lose more money than last week because now we're incurring expenses.
You got to get 100%, okay?
Yes,
you
sir.
Get up, and I hope it's going to be up very fast. I hope the governor does that pretty quickly. Let's see how it goes.
Rodrigue asked the president to extend the deadline restaurants have to spend federal funds from the Federal Paycheck Protection Program. Under the PPP's current rules, the forgivable loans must be spent before June 30th.
We think with just a few small changes in cover period and length of the cover period on the forgiveness of PPP, we have a real great opportunity.
According to the Louisiana Restaurant Association, more than 80% of restaurants across the state laid off employees since the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak. Drago's owner tells us that 2 of his 5 restaurants remain closed at this time, and of those that remain open, business is off by about 75%.
And obviously, PPP definitely helps. There's no question about that. But we still have our hands tied.
President Trump told restaurant leaders extending the PPP deadline from 8 to 24 weeks should be easy, but so far there's no firm commitment to the full extension. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
During that same roundtable today, President Trump revealed that he's been taking hydroxychloroquine as a preventative measure for coronavirus. The president said he's been taking it for a couple of weeks now. The FDA has warned against widespread use of the drug that was originally approved to treat malaria in 1955. President Trump said today, quote, "I started taking it because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories."